Today marks the third anniversary of Sarah's marriage with John and the sixth year they've been together.
Ding dong.
The phone on the table rang. Sarah put down the freshly cooked dish, wiped her hands, and opened the message with anticipation. It was from an unknown sender.
Don't wait anymore. John won't be coming back.
Attached was a photo of him sleeping on a woman's chest. That woman was none other than his ex-girlfriend, Emily.
No, this can't be true.
In that instant, Sarah's smile froze on her face, and her hands trembled so much that she could barely hold the phone. Looking at the meticulously prepared dishes, flowers, and the cake with a number 6 candle, it all felt like a cruel joke. The kitchen still had his favorite pork rib soup simmering, bubbling away. She walked over and turned it off. She sat at the dining table, staring blankly like a soulless body. John and Sarah met in college during their freshman military training. Among all the people, he stood out to her immediately.
He was tall, had single eyelids, and looked somewhat like a Korean boy with exceptionally fair skin. Among the tan boys, he was as striking as a crane among chickens.
Occasionally, he would joke with classmates, and his smile revealed adorable dimples. Perhaps it was the stirrings of youth, but Sarah believed it was love at first sight. Before being with her, she heard he had a brief relationship with a girl, but they broke up soon after. Little did she know, it was all part of his plan, and she fell right into his carefully laid trap. This marked the beginning of her nightmare. The clock struck midnight. Sarah watched the steaming dishes grow cold, not taking a single bite, and then threw them all into the trash. She never imagined he would truly betray her. But looking at the messages from Emily, his fleeting college ex-girlfriend, each word felt like a knife, wounding her heart deeply and becoming a recurring nightmare.
Do you know why John chose you? Because you're a local, and your family could help him get a good job. Sarah, he never truly liked you. He only liked the benefits you brought him. All these years, he's been with me. We have countless beautiful memories together. Do you?
Sarah gripped the phone tightly, veins bulging on the back of her hand. In truth, she had sensed it but chose to deceive herself. Over the past year, John's overtime became more frequent, and he always had excuses to cancel plans with her. On Valentine's Day, he claimed he had to work late and couldn't make it. On her birthday, he promised to take her out for dinner and a movie, but halfway through dinner, he got a call saying a friend was in trouble, and he had to leave. Though Sarah felt disappointed each time, she always prioritized his needs. Yet, a woman's intuition told her something was off. The first clue of his possible infidelity came on his mother's birthday. After graduating, Sarah worked at a TV station, busy as ever. His family was from a rural area, and in this materialistic age, a good job required either capability or connections. Honestly, John had neither. He barely passed college, playing games all day, with basketball and his model-like looks being his only assets. After graduation, he proposed, and after their marriage, her family got him a supervisor position at a multinational company. On his mother's birthday, she juggled numerous tasks and begged her boss for a day off to celebrate with her. John had promised to come after finishing his work. As the meal was about to start, everyone waited anxiously, but he never showed. His mother was worried sick.
Sarah, call John and see what's going on. Is he stuck in traffic or something? I'm too worried to eat.
Sarah reassured her and quickly called him. The first call went unanswered. The second rang for a long time before he picked up, sounding irritated.
Didn't I tell you I'm busy today? Why are you calling?
His tone stunned her.
It's your mother's birthday. She's worried sick since you haven't shown up, and the meal is about to start.
She heard him take a deep breath, seemingly calming himself.
Tell her I'm working overtime and entertaining clients. I can't make it. You're there, and that's enough. I'll celebrate with her next year.
He hung up. Feeling dejected, she conveyed his message to his mother gently. Though she said, John's company must be busy. Work is important. Sarah knew she was deeply disappointed, just like she was. They barely ate that meal, and his mother soon put down her chopsticks. When Sarah returned home, it was as empty as when she left. Lying in bed, she scrolled through her social media and suddenly noticed a post that caught her attention. John's company is the same one where my younger relative, David, works. His social media post boldly stated, "The company is on holiday today, I can finally go out and have fun." I was puzzled. Didn't John say the company was busy? How could David have a day off? I decided to directly message David.
Hey, David, is your company on holiday today?
Yeah, sis, what's up? You and John can have a nice date today.
I thought for a moment, choosing my words carefully.
Is John's department on holiday too? I just got home from work and noticed no one is here. I haven't asked him yet.
A minute later, David's message came through.
Yeah, everyone has the day off. We completed a project well recently, so the director gave us 2 days off to rest. Maybe John hasn't told you yet.
Reading his message, my brow furrowed deeply. I quickly replied.
Yeah, I just got back from the station. You have a good rest, David. I won't bother you.
After exiting the chat with David, my heart felt like it had been hit by something heavy, causing a dull ache. The company wasn't working overtime, so why did John lie to me? He even made excuses to miss his mother's birthday. And David said they had 2 days off. I grew increasingly anxious. I needed to verify this. So, I called their front desk.
Hello, may I ask if John is there?
Hello, ma'am. Mr. John is not here. Our company is on holiday for 2 days. If you have any questions, you can tell me, and I can help you register or make an appointment.
Oh, I see. No need then. Since your company is on holiday for 2 days, I'll contact him the day after tomorrow.
My voice trembled as I said this. After hanging up, my chest felt like it was stuck with a lump of air, unable to go up or down. John was really lying to me. But I knew asking him directly wouldn't get me anywhere. I decided to act as if I knew nothing. Since they had 2 days off, I wanted to see what he would say tomorrow. That night, he came home past 11, with a hint of alcohol on him. I couldn't sleep because of the thoughts in my mind. I only lay down after hearing him shower and come to bed. Seeing me awake, he said nothing and fell asleep immediately. Looking at his familiar yet strange back, my heart ached uncontrollably. It's been 2 or 3 months without intimacy, right? I don't know when it started, but he treated me like a routine, without the passion of before. It felt like he wanted to get it over with quickly, with no communication between us. The unease about our marriage made me want to cry, but I held it back. The next morning, I made his favorite fried eggs as usual. While eating, I waited for him to explain the holiday. But he said nothing, finished quickly, drank some milk, and grabbed his clothes to leave. At the door, he seemed to remember something and paused, turning back. My heart lifted with hope.
Hey, can you wash my dirty clothes? I'm meeting a client today and will be back late. Don't wait for me for dinner.
With that, he turned and left. As the door slammed shut, my heart felt like it shattered into pieces. I felt upset and didn't want to help him, but my soft heart gave in, and I threw his clothes into the washing machine. I habitually checked the pockets and found something. I pulled out a receipt and a remittance slip from his pants pocket. The receipt was from a hotel stay yesterday, with a room number noted. The remittance slip was from a rival company, which puzzled me, but I didn't pay much attention. My focus was on the thin receipt, and I trembled uncontrollably. Suspicion took root in my heart. Did he stay at a hotel yesterday? I threw the clothes into the washing machine. I immediately searched for the hotel on my phone. It was near a tourist spot in the city. I forced myself to stay calm, my mind racing. Thinking about our increasingly distant relationship, my suspicion grew. But what made me laugh bitterly was that after all this waiting, this was the result. I touched my stomach. I had tried my best, but that man had no intention of turning back. I didn't want to see this disgusting pair anymore. I couldn't sit idly by. I had to uncover the painful truth behind this marriage myself. I returned to my room and retrieved the hotel receipt I had hidden in the drawer. Taking out my phone, I browsed the online booking status of the hotel. Since it wasn't too far away, I booked a room for 9 a.m. the next day, with a checkout time of 1 p.m. After making the reservation, I went to sleep. Early the next morning, I drove to the hotel. I arrived just before 9 a.m., quickly checked in, and after spending a short time in the room, I went to the front desk.
Excuse me, I lost something important. Could you help me check the surveillance footage to find it?
Taking advantage of the fact that there was only one man in the surveillance room, I told him that I had stayed there a few days ago and couldn't remember if I lost the item then or today.
Could you help me check? It's very important to me. Thank you.
As I spoke, I handed the man 2 packs of cigarettes. His eyes lit up.
Which time frame do you want to see? I'll help you find it. I guarantee it.
The time shown on this receipt, please.
The scene that appeared on the screen made my heart ache as if it had been torn open.
No, it can't be.
There, in the lobby, checking out, was John, with a woman clinging to his side. It was Emily, his ex-girlfriend, or rather, his mistress. John appeared tender, stroking her hair and kissing her forehead. They walked out of the hotel, arms around each other. My heart bled. It felt as if they were stepping on it with every move, causing me to tremble all over.
Could you rewind a bit? I need to see more.
He nodded and rewound the footage. I discreetly recorded the scenes with my phone and then made an excuse to leave.
Thank you. I think I've seen enough.
I don't remember how I left the hotel. The sky, which had been gloomy, finally started to drizzle, as if the heavens knew my mood and used the rain to wash away my tears. I cried uncontrollably.
Years of faith collapsed.
I crouched by the roadside, holding my head. My high heels had come off, and in the early autumn rain, my suit jacket was soaked, the water seeping into my skin, freezing my very blood. I shivered there for a long time, finally understanding that such a life was not worth living.
I want a divorce. John will leave with nothing. I will exact revenge on this pair of adulterers.
Soaked to the skin, I got back into my car, turned the heater up to the maximum, drying my clothes and my tears. Returning home, I swiftly took a shower and changed my clothes. It was time to put my plan for retribution into action. John had arrived in this city with nothing. His job was arranged through my family's connections, and we borrowed 200,000 yuan for the house. My parents contributed 500,000 yuan, and after the down payment, we used my housing fund for the mortgage, which I have been paying off. Yet, the property deed bore both our names. The car was bought with my year-end bonus after working for a year. His salary card was never given to me, and I never saw him contribute any money. As a company supervisor, his salary should be decent. He always had excuses.
I need to entertain clients and colleagues. What man doesn't carry money?
Back then, I was naive enough to believe his lies. Looking at this decently located two-bedroom apartment, I resolved to reclaim what was rightfully mine. I went out and bought several cameras, installing them in every corner of the house except the bathroom, ensuring every spot was covered. Especially around the bed, I placed 3 cameras. Around 11 at night, he came back, reeking of alcohol as usual. He seemed to be in a good mood, placing his phone on the bedside table to charge and stripping off his clothes before heading to the shower. Hearing the water running, I hurriedly got up and grabbed his phone. Luckily, the password hadn't changed. I opened his WeChat and saw a pinned contact, a woman labeled as client. I smirked silently at his cunning. Opening the chat, it was completely empty, meticulously cleaned. I then clicked on her profile and took a picture of her WeChat ID with my phone. Instinctively, I opened his QQ. I knew his QQ password from our school days. But it was just as clean. Then, an idea struck me, and I tried switching accounts. Sure enough, there was a secondary account, likely used frequently, with no password needed. Inside, there was only one friend, the woman labeled as client. I was certain this was Emily. Calming myself, I shakily opened the chat. The conversation that unfolded before my eyes nearly shattered me. I knew it was time to confront the truth and take back what was mine. Narrator, tone, serious. John and Emily were having a secret conversation, unaware that Sarah had discovered their deceit.
Baby, I miss you. It's getting cold, take good care of yourself.
Sob, when will you be able to stay with me completely? I've been waiting for you for 6 years. To avoid being discovered, I've had to let go of 2 little ones. My heart, my dear, it's breaking.
I'm a father, how could I not feel the pain? Don't be sad, baby. Soon, once I stabilize my job, I'll separate from that woman. Next month, I'm applying for the manager position. I need her to pull some strings for me to get the promotion. Once I get it, I can apply to move to River City, and we can live together without worries.
It hurts. All right, my family is from out of town and doesn't have the influence that Sarah's family does. But thinking about you two together makes my heart ache.
Don't be sad, baby. I haven't touched her in a long time. Every time, I have to endure the distaste and imagine her as you to get through it. My heart belongs only to you. I love you, baby.
Does the tattoo from yesterday still hurt? It shouldn't get wet. I'm so happy you got a tattoo of me and our little one.
It doesn't hurt. I wish I could tattoo you both on my heart.
Narrator, tone, serious. Reading these words, Sarah felt as if struck by lightning. Over these 6 years, they had 2 children. He stayed with her just to use her for job promotions and raises. To stay in the city. What a well-calculated plan. Narrator, tone, sad at the same time, she shed tears of bitterness for herself. It was all a conspiracy. For 6 years, she lived in their web of deceit, completely unaware. How laughable. Every time he was with her, he endured disgust. Imagined her as Emily. Thinking about it made her feel nauseous, sick to her stomach. Reflecting on every interaction over the past 6 years felt like writhing maggots, disgusting and repulsive. Narrator, tone, serious. Calming down, her inner voice screamed, "No, I can't just sit here and do nothing. I need to make this man face the consequences he deserves." Recalling the various transaction records she had noticed over the years, she shakily opened all his accounts and took screenshots of everything she could access. Just then, the sound of water stopped. She quickly took the last screenshot and put the phone back in its place. As soon as she lay down, he opened the door and came out. Her heart pounded with fear, almost getting caught.
Sarah, are you asleep?
Narrator, tone, serious. She continued to pretend to sleep, ignoring him. Unexpectedly, his warm hand slipped under her nightgown. She quickly opened her eyes, remembering the conversation, and slapped his hand away, rushing to the bathroom to retch. Narrator, tone, disgusted. Just thinking about those words made her want to vomit. It was too disgusting. He frowned and followed her, trying to pat her back, but she stood up, pale-faced, and walked past him.
I haven't been feeling well these past 2 days.
Narrator, tone, serious. She said and went back to bed. She didn't need his fake concern. The more he acted like this, the more disgusted she felt. She suddenly realized she really wanted a divorce. When the pain numbs, there's no more hurt, only endless disgust and hatred. He lay down on the other side of the bed, clearly unhappy, but couldn't help speaking after a while.
Sarah, our company is having a manager competition. Can you ask your father to help me out again? Our director said I have a good chance.
Narrator, tone, serious. She couldn't help but sneer internally. Here it comes, finally. Ha, she was just a tool for his promotions and raises. He only thought of her when he needed her. But part of her revenge plan was to make him leave the company like a stray dog.
Okay, I'll ask him tomorrow.
Narrator, tone, serious. To expedite the divorce and rid herself of this repulsive maggot, she turned over, suppressing her discomfort. But when she saw the tattoo on his inner arm, she regretted it. She almost wanted to vomit again. On his left inner arm, there was a small string of letters, J.E. Clearly, it stood for John. Emily. Ha, she was really moved by their touching love story. She almost wanted to applaud. Suppressing the nausea, she spoke slowly.
John, I was thinking, maybe we should sell this house, get a smaller one, buy you a car, and use the remaining money to help you with connections.
Narrator, tone, serious. John frowned, clearly considering the feasibility. But eventually, the thought of a promotion and having his own car won him over. He didn't want to take the subway to work every day. Finally, he nodded.
All right, let's do it quickly. The competition starts next month.
Narrator, tone, serious. Seeing him agree, she couldn't help but smile. The next day, she asked a friend to list the house with a second-hand real estate company. Then she texted John.
The house is listed. The station is sending me on a 3-day business trip. My flight is at 10. Just letting you know.
Narrator, tone, serious. Soon, he replied.
Okay, honey, take care. Safe travels.
Narrator, tone, serious. Honey? It's been a while since he called her that. Clearly, he's in a good mood. She took her packed suitcase and went to the hotel she had booked in advance. Once at the hotel, she took out her laptop and accessed the home surveillance. Sure enough, John brought Emily back to our house at noon. As soon as they walked in, they started making out, stumbling their way to the bedroom. Ha, 1,000 curses ran through my mind. The bed had fresh sheets I had just changed. What a waste on these two. The scene shifted to the bedroom, clothes scattered everywhere. Luckily, I hadn't eaten all day, or I might have lost my lunch. I started recording the screen. I couldn't bear to watch them, so I used another new phone to search for Emily's WeChat ID. I disguised my secondary account as a small business, offering free gifts to add her. Knowing she was busy, I opened her Moments. To my delight, it was visible to strangers. Her posts were mostly lovey-dovey pictures and videos, but the guy never showed his face. However, having lived with John for 6 years, I knew his body well, including his clothes, most of which I had bought for him. So, I instantly recognized John in the videos and photos. The watch on his wrist was a New Year's gift from me. Her moments mostly flaunted the various gifts he had bought her: Chanel, LV, SK2. She captioned them with, "Thanks, darling, for the gifts. So happy." Judging by her account, she seemed like an affluent socialite, living a life of afternoon teas, shopping, and showcasing luxury items. Only I knew she was just like John, a woman from a small town. It seemed the big city was truly a place full of desires. Watching the wealthy women around her, driving luxury cars and living in mansions, how could she not be tempted? Wouldn't she want what other women had? I even saw a limited edition bag I had bought but rarely used. I had lost it once and couldn't find it, only to see it in her photos. I couldn't help but laugh. John probably thought I wouldn't miss one or two bags out of many. He didn't realize that each bag was a cherished treasure, and I could recognize them all at a glance. Using my bags, my money, and leveraging my connections to earn money for another woman. What nerve! I couldn't stop laughing, and tears began to fall. The more I looked, the more my 6 years of youth and marriage to John seemed like a joke. After calming down, I thought of a way to get back at Emily and John. I took out my phone and called my good friend Michael. We had been friends since childhood, growing up in the same compound. He was a genuine rich second-generation, wealthy and handsome, though a bit of a playboy.
Sarah, what made you think of calling your big brother now?
I couldn't help but roll my eyes and replied irritably.
You're always so busy, I was afraid you'd forget me. Just trying to stay in touch.
I know you too well. You wouldn't call without a reason. Spill it, what's up? You know you can count on me.
Hearing his words, a warm feeling washed over my broken heart. I told him everything without holding back and asked him to help me seduce Emily and then dump her harshly. I wanted John to lose his job and see the true nature of the woman he cherished.
That bastard John! Why waste time? I'll just get someone to break his legs. That scumbag!
No, we won't do anything illegal. I just want him to lose everything and get out of my life.
Where are you? I'll come to you.
I gave him the hotel address, and he arrived in less than 10 minutes. When I opened the door, he still looked as striking as ever, but his usual carefree demeanor was gone, replaced by a terrifyingly grim expression. Entering the room, he immediately saw the surveillance footage on the laptop.
He pursed his lips and covered my eyes with his hand. Don't look. It's filthy. I'll have my brother handle seducing Emily, he's the best at it.
He paused, feeling the wetness in his palm. He pursed his lips again and suddenly shouted.
I chased you in high school, and you turned me down for that scumbag John. Sarah, are you blind?
I clutched his sleeve and suddenly burst into tears. I really was blind, not just my eyes but my heart too. Seeing Michael, all the pent-up grievances found an outlet and surged out. Michael silently patted my shoulder, comforting me. As I cried, the nausea returned. I pushed him away and rushed to the bathroom, retching uncontrollably. Michael cursed and hurriedly fetched water and tissues for me, insisting on taking me to the hospital. Finally, I urged him to leave. He promised results within 2 days before reluctantly departing. After he left, I touched my lower abdomen, recalling the test strip from our anniversary morning, 2 lines. Yes, at this damned moment, I was pregnant. I had planned to share the good news with him that day. Ha! My first time becoming a mother, and my dear child would lose their father. The surveillance footage from the past 3 days is more than enough evidence. Even if he goes to court, it won't help him.
Good news from the second-hand housing company. Someone is interested in taking over the house.
After returning, I showed the house to the potential buyers. They liked it very much and started the process of moving in and signing the sale agreement.
I'm glad you like it. Let's get the paperwork started.
I rented a 2-bedroom apartment nearby and moved all my belongings there.
Emily has been infatuated with my friend lately. Rich kids always have their ways of charming girls.
In the past few days, I noticed that John was in a bad mood and had become somewhat irritable. I continued to carefully play the role of a dutiful wife.
Moreover, I knew that during his years as a supervisor, he hadn't always been clean. Occasionally, when he drank too much, he would let things slip and tell me his secrets.
So, I knew many of his secrets. After casting the net for so long, it was finally time to reel it in.
First, I kept the money from selling the house to myself. I also told him that my dad had pulled some strings, and he was likely to be the next manager.
Really? That's amazing news. I can't believe it. Tries to kiss her.
Dodges with a laugh. Let's not celebrate just yet.
To ensure he had more incriminating evidence against him, so the court would award me all the assets, I decided to take a risk and add another layer to my revenge plan: domestic violence.
My usual clothes were too conservative, mostly professional attire. So, thinking that the end was near, I happily went shopping and bought several low-cut tops.
Taking advantage of his bad mood these days, I deliberately provoked him. I cooked meals he didn't like, let dirty clothes pile up, or broke his favorite things.
Can't you do anything right? This is ridiculous.
Oh, come on, John! It's just a broken cup.
He indeed lost his temper. However, in all these years, he had never actually hit me. So, when he picked up a teacup and threw it hard at me, I dodged, and the cup hit my forehead, causing a large, alarming bump.
Are you okay? Let me see.
How could you do this to me? Throws a tantrum.
Soon, he got annoyed, and any guilt he had disappeared, replaced by even more irritation.
Stop crying. It's your own fault.
He grabbed my shoulders and collarbone, and as I looked into his fiery eyes, I felt a strange satisfaction.
No wonder being a shrew feels so good. It's the thrill of dragging everyone down with you.
Even though his grip was strong enough to almost crush me, the harder he squeezed, the happier I felt. This way, the domestic violence would be undeniable.
Why do you always have to make things so difficult?
Finally, when I stopped struggling, he let go and stormed out, slamming the door.
Perfect. Now it was time for my performance.
I put on one of the new low-cut tops, grabbed a shopping bag, and went out.
Sarah, did John do this to you?
No, it's not his fault. It's my fault.
This response basically confirmed Aunt Mary's suspicion. When we reached the ground floor, I pretended to be a bullied victim and quickly ran away. The next day, the bruising on my collarbone had turned even more alarming. So, for several days, I went out like this, and even my colleagues at the station knew that John had been abusive.
Are you okay, Sarah? You don't deserve this.
I'll be fine. Thank you for your concern.
Seeing their sympathetic and pitying looks, I felt like cheering inside. It was working. Now, everything was ready, just waiting for the final push. 2 days before the job interview, I anonymously sent an email to their director, detailing all of John's corrupt activities over the years, including embezzlement and misappropriation of funds. Then, I filed for divorce in court, submitting all the evidence of his infidelity and abuse.
What is this? A court summons? A termination letter? How could she have done this?
Leaving the company, he desperately tried to call me, but all he heard was,
"The number you have dialed is currently switched off."
He went crazy, rushing to the rented apartment to find me, but I was already gone.
Sarah! Why? Why are you doing this to me?
From the moment he left, I had moved out of the apartment. I knew he had given all his salary cards to the woman he was infatuated with, so I only paid 1 month's rent.
Sarah! Where are you?
He kept sending me messages.
Sarah! What do you want?
But it was too late. My plan had succeeded. Sarah looked at John's bizarre message and couldn't help but sneer.
Serious, John, this outcome was inevitable from the day you and Emily plotted against me, wasn't it?
After sending this message, Sarah immediately blocked him on WeChat. With nowhere else to turn, John went to find Emily. But when he opened the door, he saw Emily being intimate with another man at home. His world collapsed.
John, let me explain. Please listen to me.
But John couldn't hear anything. He only saw the reality in front of him. Already on the brink of collapse, this was the final straw that broke him. With red eyes, he grabbed a fruit knife from the table and angrily charged at the two on the sofa. In that instant, Michael's friend managed to dodge perfectly, but the stunned Emily was stabbed in the abdomen.
The baby. John, you hurt our baby.
With a clatter, the fruit knife fell from John's hand to the floor. Emily was taken to the hospital. The baby couldn't be saved, and her condition led to a serious procedure. Michael's friend immediately called the police and pressed charges against John for attempted harm. Emily didn't die, but she was filled with hatred. Because of him, she lost 6 years of her youth, and the chance to be a mother. In the end, the court ruled for Sarah's divorce, John was sent to prison, and Emily was hospitalized. John's parents cried their hearts out. As for Sarah, she was already on a train heading to Cloud Town. Cloud Town is an old town with beautiful mountains and rivers, and a slower pace of life. Sarah opened a small dessert shop here. There are many long-time residents in the area, and business is quite good every day. Life is fulfilling. She owed this to the years after her marriage when she took many training courses to make different dishes for John every day. Combined with her natural talent for cooking, everyone who has eaten at her shop says the food is delicious, and she has many repeat customers. Sarah still decided not to have the child, not wanting him to be born into an incomplete family. Before she left, Michael confessed to her once more.
Sarah, this time, can you look back at me?
I'm sorry, Michael. I need to live for myself now.
Sarah once had a great career and future. She lost a lot because of her love for John.
This time, I don't want to rely on anyone. I just want to live for myself.